So have you ever kind of been on a night out, then suddenly all of a sudden felt huge amounts of anxiety, low confidence and self-doubt, so much so that you desperately just want to get out of there? Let's get into that. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Borman, and if you are coming through, then please do let me know in the comments below. No lurkers to be here. So, question for you. Have you ever struggled with social anxiety? And if so, what was it? Was it low confidence? Was it just feeling out of place? Was it just that you didn't know what to say? Kind of give an example in the comments about like that social anxiety of how you felt it. And even if you haven't, then great. Just put that in there. No, never suffered it. It's just good for me to kind of know and get an understanding if this is an actual subject that people struggle with or not. So for me, it was around the summer of 2019, going into autumn, that I just hit a brick wall socially. I'm a bit of an introvert at heart anyway, despite what comes across on camera. It's game face when it's camera time, right? But normal circumstances, I am quite a quiet, laid back type of guy. And this particular period of my life here in 2019, I felt it really, really difficult to want to go out and socialise. And we're not talking about going to like a wedding and having to get to know people. We're kind of like talking about people who are in my circle. And me not even having the confidence in myself to want to go out and socialise. You know, the thought of it just filled me with dread, with anxiety. Come here, dickhead. And it filled me with dread. Come here. It filled me with dread, absolute dread. So much so that I stopped going out. I don't think I went out for nearly 6 months. Come here. Come here and sit down now. Sit down. And it really left me low on confidence. Really left me, that was Jessie actually, low on confidence. And I didn't really know how to go about it. I didn't really know how to deal with it. And I remember us going out once, and very rarely did me and Jemima get a date night. And we had a date night, and that was nice. And then a lot of our other friends were out, and they bumped into us and hung out with us. And I just went home. I just couldn't do it. Everyone was talking. I didn't want to get into a conversation. I didn't really want to talk. I didn't want to be there. I just wanted to be like chilling out on my sofa, relaxing, or hiding under my fucking duvet cover, just chilling out. And that went on for months. And I don't even know how I got out of it. I couldn't even tell you or remind you how I slipped out of that mentality to start being confident again. But I do know that, and I do feel that a lot of it came from insecurities. And insecurities is something I've always kind of dealt with myself. And I think I'm naturally quite an insecure person. And when I dig down deep and try and figure out where that comes from, I think a lot of that comes from my childhood. And not having my dad around, who died when I was 6, was a huge factor in that, I think. And when my mum remarried, and I had to deal with an emotional bully of my stepdad, I think that really built up a high level of insecurity, you know, within myself. I've never really dealt with, and never really pressed that button to deal with. But there are periods of time when it comes to social anxiety, like we've got a wedding to go to at the end of August, and I'm already fucking dreading it, you know. But then I can go to an event, put on an event for 300 guys and not feel it. And it really is mental the way that we feel about it. But I do feel like there is always that trigger, whether it's a confidence issue, whether it's an insecurity issue, whether it's a vulnerability issue. But it's very difficult to put your finger on it. And the reason I wanted to talk about it today was just because I just wanted to put it out there, more for self-awareness than anything else. It's just to say that, look, you probably think it's only you that struggles with that. But I know other guys that struggle with it. I struggle with it. And I just think it's really, the overall boils down to our own self-esteem. That confidence, that inner voice, that inner dialogue that we have with ourselves in believing in who we are, not feeling like a fraud, knowing who we are with our identity. And I think that's another important one, knowing who we are, like who are we? And I think when we're not super clear on that, when we don't have clarity on that, that can make us socially anxious. It can make us anxious full stop, right? When sometimes we feel like a fraud, it makes us feel like anxious. When we go out, it turns into social anxiety. So all the work that I talk about and all the work that I do with guys, it's really about building up an identity, like the elite operator. Like when you go out on a night out, being that elite operator, dressing, empowering yourself with looking smart, feeling confident, feeling proud about who you are, connecting with who you are. And for me, I think that's how we deal with things like sit down. You're in my shit book. I think that's how we build on this anxiety, right? Just not necessarily just social anxiety, but normal anxiety. We empower ourselves by getting to know ourselves and knowing who we are. When I was a Royal Marine, I never struggled with social anxiety because I had a strong identity of who I was. I had a strong internal dialogue. I never really used to get anxious in the military. And I think when I look at me being in the military versus me coming out of the military, it really does boil down to that strong identity, that strong purpose, that strong self-esteem, that strong internal dialogue. So we keep working on ourselves all of the time to improve that, to raise that level, so that when it does come to things like going out, whether it's with mates, whether it's with the boys, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your wife, you feel confident when you're out. You feel confident in your presence and who you are. And I think that's important. That's another reason why we work on ourselves, right? Continuously, while we connect with ourselves continuously, to improve that internal confidence, self-esteem, identity management. Whew, deep one. Listen, I hope you have a great weekend. Come on, England tonight. I'm going to say 3-0. If you want to put a score in the comments and you want to go all in, like what's the score going to be between England and Scotland tonight? I'm saying 3-0 England, easy win. I'm probably going to get loads of abuse from the Scots, but I don't mind. Have a cracking weekend. It's great to be back after last week, having the week before off. It's good to get back to routines. We're going to be building up to the next 5-day challenge, which is on the 5th of July. So I look forward to working with some people there. I've got some huge announcements next week in terms of the seminar, plus some workshops I'm going to be starting introducing to offering people in terms of opportunities to come down here and work with me in a small group, which will be amazing. For now, have an incredible weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy the football tonight. And I'll see you Monday ready to rock.